It's everything I dreamed of.
I want to tell my dad that I love him.
I still don't know what just happened.
I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to play this game. A legacy is not what you give people, it's what you put inside people, but also what they put inside of me.
Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Locker Room with Maria. Maria Prakachis here, and another bonkers week with the NFL. So let's get right to it with T-Bone's Take.
I'd just like to say thank you. It's our first Zoom meeting in our podcast. It's pretty exciting stuff. And I hear you're in Vegas, right?
Yeah, 7 a.m. here in Vegas, and I'm up because I'm working. 5 to 6 a.m. wake up calls in Vegas don't make you have a lot of fun at night, but that's okay. We're here I'm here for the National Finals Rodeo. Yeehaw starts Thursday when this will launch. So, and you're at Grumpy's, I see with the.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock here. I've got my fish here. Got a shark to the right of me. You can't really see it, but yeah, things are going good. I'm super excited, and let's start off with the T-Bone's Take for the week. My first one was Michigan beat Ohio State. That's like we talked about at the gym, remember?
Yeah, no, that was a good for the Harbaugh.
16, yeah. They lost 15 of the last 16 and 8 in a row. And so the Ravens won over Cleveland too. So the Harbaugh brothers beat down Ohio. I think that's super cool. And good. I mean, the last time that they won, I think was I can't even remember. I think I was still drinking, actually. That was like at least 6 years ago, which is pretty amazing. I don't really remember the game anyway, but they won. So, and another interesting fact of that game for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, when he throws 3+ interceptions, he is 2-0.
Okay, because he threw a bunch, and
he threw. Yeah, so he threw 3 interceptions that game, or no, 4 this game, and a game before that he threw 3 interceptions, and they won both games, so he's 2-0. Like the most terrible quarterback play, and you still 2-0 in a game like that. That's amazing. Like thanks for your defense. And then we're going to cruise on down to the unvaccinated Amari Cooper, who might cost the Cowboys another game because they're really hurting at wide receiver right now. And he's out still. He can't play because he's not. He was supposed to be back last week, but he's just not. And now their coach has it too, McCarthy.
And now, I just heard LeBron James. I was watching Get Up this morning before this, and he had a breakthrough case, and he has to be out. But at least I don't know if it's out as long. But again, we're vaccinated. I got my booster before I came down here because let me just tell you.
How's your arm feel?
Oh, great. We didn't. You cooked. You went and got it, and you went back to cooking. That was hilarious that day. But no, I didn't have any symptoms. But still, the vaccination is so key, and I don't get it why they don't get vaccinated. These athletes.
I think that, I mean, like I'll hand it to them. They're in charge of their body because I don't. I'm vaccinated. I don't care if you're not. But when it starts to hurt the team, I think that's kind of it's selfish a little bit. And if you're hurting your team, you're out there to play and you're getting paid millions of dollars. I think that you should probably play. But once again, that's not my area to judge. So, and I would think that McCarthy was vaccinated too. So he probably had a breakthrough case, but who knows?
I'm not going to read what you have on your notes here. That's not acceptable for you to.
Sorry. Oh, it was kind of an Eagles perspective on a vaccination status or a breakthrough case in Cowboys. It's like I don't care because they whatever. But like, is Mike McCarthy not coaching this weekend? Is that going to mean our Boise State Kellen Moore is making the calls?
I would think it's amazing because he's so young and he's done so much. And now all the announcers are just like, that's a Kellen move. That's a Kellen Moore. That looks like a Kellen Moore offensive move. I mean, such a name for himself.
He's going to be, I went to his last college game in Boise. It's awesome.
Yeah. So I think, he has to be. So.
Yeah. So he's probably going to be a head coach if they don't do very well. They'll get rid of McCarthy and pay him. So that's good for him. And then on to the next one. Cam Newton had the worst day ever as a quarterback in the NFL. He got benched.
I know. It's like he's back, yay, and then not so great.
You know what's funny is like the reason he did so bad is because I played him at my fantasy quarterback this weekend. So I'm sorry. It's probably just a down week. Obviously my fault. I mean,
how are you doing in your fantasy league? You're always saying that you're not doing so well. So
I'm doing well in one league or two leagues, and then the other ones I'm just getting beat up. Everybody's hurt. And the one league I'm not doing well, and my next point, the Titans are really hurting without Derrick Henry. You know who else is hurting without Derrick Henry? This guy. This guy's fantasy football team. I was in first place. I've dropped. I've won 2 games when he got hurt since, and I think it was like 5 weeks ago. It's just brutal. They have no identity. They're trying to give other running backs a chance, but like they can't because they're not as good. It's just crazy. I just can't stand it. It hurts me.
It hurts you. Don't be hurt. Bengals, though, and what's up? I know now all the talks, besides Seahawks, which we'll get to, but the Steelers not looking so great. Is it time for Big Ben to go?
I think so. I mean, it's just like he is big and slow, and he's my age, but he's played in the NFL for, almost 20 years, maybe less than that. But, I mean, great athlete, great guy, won championships, but I mean it just kind of sucks, when you get this old. It's almost tough to watch,
unless you're Tom Brady.
Right,
yeah, unless you're Tom Brady, you're old.
I can't believe 40. It. And like I think the Bengals beat the Steelers this year twice, and they haven't done that since 2009.
Yeah,
the Bengals are looking good. Joe Burrows is looking good. Their receiver core looks great.
Yeah.
And then you got the Steelers who aren't looking so great.
It's like, what? I'm going to jump down. I know we're more NFL, but let's talk college and the coaches. USC and LSU getting some new coaches. I just
great for those coaches, but couldn't they do it a different way than texting their team 10 minutes after they got out of a meeting or the guy from Oklahoma, I forget his name, great coach, going to USC, probably going to get great recruits out of that. But hey, are you going to take this job this way here? He's like, no, I'm going to USC. And then the coach from Notre Dame was I think they could do it a little more classy. And it just kind of sucks these days that you're finding out people getting traded on Twitter and social media. It's not through the coach to the team or a text message. I think that's so impersonal and just lame.
Yeah, I mean, he apologized for it, and then the Notre Dame athletic director came on and said, no, he talked to me and he apologized for how it got out there, but with social media, nothing is kept secret. But he is making so much money for
I know 96 billion or something like that. And it's also, it's like, Maria, if you were my girlfriend and you called me and broke up with me on the phone, I'd really appreciate it more than a text. I think I deserve that. I think I've earned that.
Well, on Sex and the City years ago, Carrie Bradshaw got broken up on a Post-it note. So now we've gone from Post-it notes to texts. And
that's funny. That's a great take there.
Post-it said, I can't do this anymore or something. So for all those Sex and the City.
Oh, God.
But yeah, 90, I mean, and Notre Dame, they're still not in a league. So, how are you going to be in the top 4?
Whatever. Notre Dame, I hate Notre Dame. I heard Rudy. I work out at the gym with this guy. He went to Notre Dame the same time as Rudy, and he said that Rudy is such a jerk. And I was so bummed to hear that. Yeah, and then he's like, "Who do you think a guy that hangs around the campus and is trying to sell a story about himself?" And I'm like, I guess it is kind of screaming narcissist, but it's such a great movie.
It is. Oh, I'm sad. I'm going to not believe you. Yeah. I'll ask him. You have to point him out next time.
I will. I call him the angry leprechaun.
The angry. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And he probably did go to Notre Dame. I can't remember his name.
He did.
So
Mike Fitzgerald.
What about Dolphins? You say don't count out the Dolphins.
They are crushing right now. Their defense is playing so solid. The Dolphins wanted to trade for, Deshaun Watson. They couldn't get that going. And Tua is just blowing up. He's throwing touchdowns, making it great. He's making a case for him to want them to keep him, which is the best.
Yeah.
If you want to stay in this league, you got to throw touchdowns. And they're the hottest team in the wild card for the AFC right now. Like, I definitely didn't think that they were going to do very well. But ever since that Thursday night game when they beat down, who was it? I forget, but I picked the other team to win. But they have just been on a tear. I think they've won like 4 in a row. It's like, what the heck?
Well, the Thanksgiving games. How was your turkey day, by the way?
Oh, it was awesome. I woke up, went to the gym because it closed at 12. And
I just missed you. John and I just missed you, Jim.
Sweet. But yeah,
I had to put a plug in.
Like, I went and saw my mom. She was good to see her. And then I went to my girlfriend's parents' house for dinner, and I just watched football all day. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I ate a lot of carbohydrates Thanksgiving and the day after. I think I gained 5 pounds, I told you, in 2 days of water weight.
That's amazing. But at least you know where you can lose it. You just got to, work it out.
I know. I've been going to the gym. Like I said, Vegas for me, totally different ball game.
Where are you staying?
At a Marriott, a beautiful Marriott.
So your stalkers can come see you.
Yeah, a beautiful Marriott. And the crew has been the same for 15 years. So we get hugs and they know exactly. I love green Tabasco. And they're like, tell her we couldn't find any. We went, like one of the waitresses went to the store to find me green Tabasco. And she's going to bring
I think green Tabasco is the best Tabasco.
I love it. So anyway, no, it's good. Rodeo. And then I'm doing a shoot for RVing in the USA. My other show that's going to air next first quarter. It is almost next year already. Anyway, let's get back to your Eagles.
I'll make this quick. Depressing to watch, very bad. When they needed to win, they didn't. Good for the Giants, though. They actually retired Michael Strahan's number on them.
Yeah, that was cool.
And they won. And so they retired Eli's earlier this year, and they got beat down. So good for them. I'll give them that. I love the Eagles. I hated to watch it. I think that Jalen Hurts had an ankle issue, too. So we can get to injuries in a little bit. But on the next one, we got 49ers. They are playing absolutely tough ball. I've picked them to lose the last 4 games, and they've won. And they beat the Vikings, who are absolutely on a tear too. I mean, if you don't want to play these guys next month, if they're getting healthier too. They just lost Deebo Samuel for a little bit, but I mean, they are Jimmy G is throwing it out there and laying it down, telling people, because they drafted that quarterback, Trey Lance, and they're saying that he's the man. He's like, whoa, I'm the man. Jimmy G's the man. And then the next one, the Bills. The Bills have 11 turnovers in the last 4 games. They've been up and down. They're like the stock market, the crypto market, even more. It's like this. It's like right here, playing somebody, next week, boom, getting blown out like with 3 points. It's
I thought
horrible.
you were doing Roman numeral 2, and I'm like, no, they did. They had 11 turnovers.
Yeah, it's 11. It's horrible, and I just don't get it. And then we have the Colts. Okay, this is the question: did the Colts lose, or did Tampa Bay win? That's the question.
I watched that game. I'm going to say, I'm on the Tampa Bay. I'm jumping on the bandwagon, so I'm going to say they won.
I'm going to go with the Colts lost. They played very well. Carson Wentz played very well. That fumble by the receiver sucked badly. I thought it was an interception. I thought he threw 2 interceptions, and I was kind of getting down on the Wentz wagon. But good news. He only needs to take 75 snaps till the Eagles get that first-round draft pick. So that's 1 more game.
I know.
I'll still like it too, but I think that they dominated that game and they just lost it. And Leonard Fournette scored 4 touchdowns. What the heck? Not forget that. And then we go on to our boyfriend Aaron Rodgers, who totally dominated the Rams. The Rams have gone out and studded up their team, and they just have not won a game since they did that.
Well, I know
so I don't know what's going on.
I love their young coach, and he's done well with them, but it's okay, time to get it together.
Sean McVay is pretty hot, I think, as a coach, and he's a good-looking guy too.
He is a good-looking guy.
They call him a man rocket. Yeah.
They called him what?
A man rocket.
A man rocket. You cut out. Okay.
The hot guy, man rocket. And so they mortgage their future. So if they don't win a Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years, they are done for like 10 years. So they need to get with the program here. And then we'll roll to you Seahawks. You watch that, right?
You know,
do you want to you want to jump in there?
It was just, I was watching it. Was it that game? My good friend Chuck, who's working with us here, who we're going to put on the podcast. By the way, Tim Rypien number 2 comes up right after we're done. But it was just sad to see. But then at the end, Russell Wilson, Chuck's like, only he can just thread it. We're like, oh, we're toast. I'm, being negative Nelly. And he threads it. And we're like, okay, woo, no, what was it? Not even less than a minute left. And then he goes for 2, and that, obviously didn't work. But then the next morning, of course, everyone, he's not going to be there. He's not going to be there. What team is he going to?
They're already starting to say that the Eagles are going to go for him with their picks. And I'm like, listen, man, why don't you just stick with Jalen Hurts because he's on a rookie contract and you don't have to give up free first-round picks to the Seahawks. But if I were the Seahawks, I would totally do that.
Well, and I know that Russell, I don't know this. I hear that Russell and the coach have this great relationship, but, he wants to win another Super Bowl. And this year, the coach, he went on a press conference and my buddy Chuck was like, he just said, he showed up. He was like, I don't know what's going on. I have nothing to say. We don't know. And he walked off.
I don't know either. There was so much chatter in the summer about him, and I don't think it was even him. I just think like the media got bored and we're like, hey, we just get rid of Russell Wilson. It's like that's like kind of what happened in Philadelphia with Carson Wentz, but like it happened, It's just like they start a bad narrative. Oh, he doesn't like to be here. He's not tough, blah, blah, blah. And then, it's just like, but Philadelphia's a little rougher on athletes in Seattle. Don't get me wrong. They love their athletes. So if you play hard, they'll love you. But if they start teeing off on you, it's got to be tough. You're in like the front page, 5 interceptions. You're like, oh, God, again.
Well, and for Pete Carroll, like he did, he just went on, he said his business and went off. And he's like, that's it. I don't know. And for him to be like that when he's so rah and up, it's kind of sad. And I'd hate to see Russell Wilson leave my team, but they've won 3 games this year. So
but at this time, it's like if they can get draft picks to shorten their rebuild and to build their team up to get it better in 2 years as opposed to 5, wouldn't you rather see that and Russell Wilson go?
Yeah, it's sad. I
mean, obviously not. Yeah, it's like Zach Ertz scored that touchdown in the Super Bowl for us, and he's in the Arizona Cardinals now.
Yeah, they're the only team besides Detroit that have only won 3 games. They call it
Detroit. Is what Charlotte calls it.
Oh my God!
I don't agree with that at all. By the way.
By the way, you are in our favorite booth at Grumpy Sun Valley, so thanks for that.
Nice.
All right, let's go on to injuries.
All right, I got injuries right here. Whose season is over and who drafted this guy? Me, first overall, Christian McCaffrey. Done. I'm never drafting him again. He gets hurt every year. I wish he was like his dad. His dad was tough. Anyway, Panthers, sorry. That's the biggest upset ever too, because you're losing your number 1 back. He helps the whole entire offense. And then another guy that went out with a dislocated shoulder, Dalvin Cook, same thing. That's huge loss. When they have him, the field opens up. Kirk Cousins plays his best. I still think Kirk Cousins is going to have to be the guy to get him out of this. So hopefully it's 3 to 4 weeks and then he gets back in. They really need to win now though.
Well, they do, and they were on a roll. The Vikings have been on a roll.
Yeah. Another team I keep losing to. I had my worst week in picks. We don't need to get into it. Everybody you think that should have won lost. I should have. This is horrible. And then the 49ers lost their running back / wide receiver. He is a wide receiver, but he just plays everywhere. Deebo Samuel, he's his left foot surgery. And that is a huge loss too. But I still think that they can manage to win because they're so hot right now. And their defense is playing absolutely on lights out fire. And then we got Darren Waller for the Raiders. He rolled his ankle in the first or second quarter. He did not come back. He's on my team, of course. But yeah,
this is why I don't play fantasy football. I know, man. I'd be too surprised.
He's their best player. He's always open, and they lost so many people. It just seems like the story for the Raiders just keeps getting darker, But hopefully,
I know I'm here. I want to go to the game Sunday. Anyone have tickets out there? Let me know. But we'll see. I think I have to work.
You'll be there. And then Ezekiel Elliott, he got knee. He's been, I think he's been hurting for the last couple of weeks. I think they should just sit him out and let him get better if they want anything to go, because they've got Pollard. And he is absolutely lights out too. And then we got my boy Jalen Hurts, who hurt his ankle. I guess
what's the story on him? I haven't seen.
I don't know. They said he hurt his ankle in the fourth quarter, last couple plays of the game, and now Gardner Minshew's taking reps on Jalen Hurts' day, where usually Minshew has the day off. So
does Minshew still have his mustache? Because I'm a UW Husky. It's like you got to go. That guy
that guy's so funny. Dude.
And the coach, the old coach of Wazoo, he called him up, I guess, and said, look, you can go he was being recruited by one of the Big Ten schools. He goes, or you can come here and you'll be a superstar. And he was a superstar. Yeah,
he went his rookie year. I remember he flew back to one of the games and was just raging. I was like, this guy's awesome.
Oh yeah.
He wears like American flag eagle headbands and shorts with mustache and like glasses in practice. It's really quite funny. If you haven't seen a picture of him, you should go on YouTube and watch the video. It's pretty funny, man. He's got he buys like trucker stuff at gas stations and like just torches it up, man. It's great.
Of course he does. But no, so good for him. Maybe we'll see him and see what he can do. But Jalen's the man. But
yeah. And then we got Matt Stafford's pretty banged up, I think, because there's no way that he's throwing 3+ interceptions if he's not with the Rams. I mean, like they just look all out of sorts. I don't really know what's going on. I thought the bye week would help him out.
Well, yeah, thank goodness for those bye weeks. But then there's still the Baker Mayfield issue too. He's banged up.
He is a tough guy.
But I mean, again, we talked about this last week. He got booed by the fans. You never want to get booed by your own fans.
Yeah, well, it'd be like me getting booed at Grumpy's. I was like, what? The bar you work at, you're like, what's going on?
Don't boo him. He makes the best ahi tuna sandwich.
I just be like, you're out of here. You're out of here.
You have that. You can do that. Dean Swift. Dean. I can't read.
Deontay Swift. Deontay Swift for the Detroit hurt his shoulder. They've got, I think it's Williams in the backfield as a backup, but he's pretty much like the only good player on that team, unfortunately. And then you got Randall Cobb, who plays receiver for Green Bay. He hurt his groin. He should be out 2 to 3 weeks. And then my final one, we'll make this quick. Our buddy Aaron Rodgers, who might need toe surgery, but has declined to get it, I think. But he wants everybody to know it hurts, and it's not COVID toe. Okay?
I know. He was on the show, and when he said that, I don't even think he realized it was an actual thing.
But I didn't. I thought he was just joking.
Yeah.
You're like, what? You're like, oh, that guy's funny. Oh, wait, what? That's a thing? It's pretty bad.
I know. I mean, there are things I'm not educated on, but yeah, that was funny. And I want to say it again. My toe. That's how he says it.
Yeah. He's so monotone.
He is.
It's so crazy. He's just but he's like that, and he plays quarterback he's just vanilla, just good. Lights out.
This year has shown his colors. Look up. The Pittsburgh coach is on. Former players understand the standards that we aspire to. Yeah, he's in the news, but we'll get to that next week. Thanksgiving, good games. No surprise. The poor Lions, 0.
Yeah, the Lions just get beat up, and they lost to the last second too.
Yeah,
they got a field goal kicked on them, and then the Raiders won. They tried to lose so hard, couldn't happen to a better team. I just can't stand the Cowboys at all. But I picked them to win because they should win, right? I mean, they're the better team. The Raiders are beat up, and like I said, the Raiders. I was at my girlfriend's parents' house. Her brother's a huge Raiders fan, and his dad was just giving it to him. He's like, "They are so bad, Nick. They are so bad. They're trying to lose the game again. Interception." I'm like, "Oh my God, your dad is so mean." This is but he's so right, and he's watched the Raiders longer than all of us, so I guess he would know more. The Immaculate Reception, I think, probably would come to mind. Be like, ouch.
I know it's always good. It was just John and I, which is, I ordered out and it was lovely. I was like, we're good. Then you have one last note, and then we're going to go to this week's schedule.
See here, the Bills. Let's see. The Bills showed up, kicking butt, getting it done, and Josh Allen had 4 touchdowns. And if the Bills need to perform, it's going to be on Josh Allen because he's the guy. If he's throwing 4 touchdowns and not 3 interceptions, they're winning. And this is going to be – and the thing is, too, is Kansas City's getting better, too. So they're going to have to face off either in the playoffs if they make it or what. But the wild card picture is going crazy, too. You know.
Well, I know. I'm looking at
coming.
It's crazy because in all the conferences – north, south, east, west, it's still, there are a lot of people. If you're over 500, that's why Seattle needed to win last week. If you're near 500 or over, you're in contention, which is crazy.
I know. And I think the AFC West, most of the teams like the Raiders and the Broncos are only 1 game back on Kansas City.
Yeah.
That's because Kansas City started out so hot badly.
Yeah. I was going to say, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So because I'm so busy, this might not come out till Friday this week. I'm just letting y'all know. But so let's go to Sunday.
Yay!
Tampa Bay and Atlanta. I say Tampa Bay.
Tampa
Atlanta's
Bay
having some issues.
They can't play. They can only play a team like the games Tampa Bay wins are the games that they like to play Jacksonville. And of course I picked Jacksonville to win that game. So what do I know?
What are you crazy? Arizona, yes. Chicago, Arizona. They're 9-2.
Yes, I think Kyler Murray's actually coming back this week too, and I like how they've kept him out to make sure he's gonna be okay. Because last year they came back too early, and I think that really hurt their chances of getting deeper in the playoffs.
Well, and they've been winning without him, so imagine them with them. So
yeah, I mean, hey, you think you're good? Okay, let's wait another week. I think that's a great idea.
So Cincinnati 7-4, the Chargers 6-5. That might be a good game.
That's a tough game. I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
I was going to go LA Chargers. That is, I'm still there. The San Diego Superchargers. That's what you really need to hear this early in the morning. Minnesota and Detroit. You look at it 0-10-1. Again, that pains me to say.
I'm going with Minnesota.
Yeah, me too. Miami,
they better win.
New York. Miami's 5-7. New York's 4-7.
Like I said, they're the hottest team in the AFC.
Yeah,
they're going. Miami.
Philadelphia, New York. Now it's kind of sad that New York Jets have 3 wins, and so do the Seahawks. I'm just again lamenting my Seahawks. But Philly, I have to go with your Eagles over New York. That's just me. Over the Jets.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I'm going with the Eagles. Darn it.
Indy, Houston. I misspoke earlier. I said there's only Houston only has 2 wins. I said the Seahawks are the worst team besides Detroit, but I stand corrected. Indy over Houston.
Yes, that's a good pick.
And then Sunday, if I go to the game, again, tickets out there, anyone? Las Vegas and Washington football team. I still wish they'd get a mascot, but that's just me. I'm going Raiders because they're home.
I'm going Washington football team.
Oh, look at you. Jacksonville and the Rams. The Rams better win this one.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Rams.
We're just going to scoot through them. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's having some issues, so I'm going Baltimore.
Baltimore. Lamar won't be sick this week either.
Go Harbaugh. San Francisco, Seattle. I think Seattle's just given up. I'm going San Fran against my team.
They're going for draft picks if they didn't trade them away last year. Yeah, San Francisco.
Even Mina Kimes this week was like, they're like, what's wrong? Because she's a huge Seahawk fan, and she was trying to dissect it, but she's at a loss. And then Denver and Kansas City. I'm going Kansas City. Let's go.
Yeah, Kansas City. I can't go. I can't. I already tried to, ruin their season in the beginning of the year, and my prayers alone did not do that. So I think we're going to go Kansas City.
And then Monday night, New England, Buffalo. I'm going to go New England because everyone's
totally
saying they're the best team and one of the best teams in the league, top 2. So I'm going New England and Buffalo. I just remember I'm old enough to remember when Buffalo lost every Super Bowl in a row.
Or they have a 30 for 30 on it. If you haven't watched it, it's great.
I have to watch it.
Pretty depressing, but it's very good. It's very good.
No.
I still Yeah, I think that the Pats are just so systematically good. It's just disgusting to watch them play. It's like me and Bill Belichick share a birthday for a reason. We're just geniuses, and that's what we do, That's what we do.
And they went with their, backup at the beginning of the season. They went with their backup quarterback, and look what he's doing. So it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, Mac Jones, they're saying he should have been picked up first overall. Trevor Lawrence, who's that? Great name, though.
Well, and the hair. Let's just talk about the hair.
Yeah, his hair is pretty good, dude. It's pretty good.
Well, and there's lots to see this weekend. Of course, still college, even though that regular season was last week, a lot of playoff games. So those will be fun. We'll see how the top four, after all of that, shakes out. And again, the playoffs, I can't believe we're coming near to the end of the NFL season too.
I think next week we'll have to do a little playoff shakedown picture in a quick segment to give the people, let them know what happened this week, and then we'll go over it for about 85 seconds, like always.
Well, I like your background for those watching better than mine.
I know.
I got the fish, and this is Sid 2, by the way. He's shedding. Sid 2, he's shedding. Poor guy. Thanks, Trevi. Miss you guys. Next week we'll be zooming again, and then part 2 with Tim Rypien coming up right now. Part 2 with Tim Rypien picks up with Tim talking about watching his son play college football for Boise State. So what was it like to go down? I know you guys went to a lot of games. We follow each other on Facebook and Instagram, but what was it like to see him do so well? I mean, you're in the stands. Were you guys just freaking out? I freaked out and I watched him. I've never met him.
I don't like, tell you the truth, I really don't like, and maybe it goes back to Mark when he played at WSU, and you hear the comments and you hear the people, even though Brett had incredible success there. But I remember going down to a game down at USC. Mark was playing USC down in Pullman, and the whole family was there, and Mark threw 3 picks in the first half. And we literally couldn't stand it. We left the stadium, went back to his apartment, watched the second half. Actually had a great second half. But, those things kind of linger, and I was prepared for it. We went to every game, not all the road games, but still, it's just nerve-wracking, I guess, because you're not in control. And I like to be in control. If I'm playing golf or if I'm playing, it's, I'm in control of that. But, you're not in control. And football is such a team sport. So even though we loved Boise, loved the city, loved the program, it was nerve-wracking, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Great place.
Well, and then on the few occasions that he might throw a pick and all of that, people don't know you're his parents, or maybe they do around you, but people tend to chat a little too much. It's like, you're not out there. Give the guy a break.
Yeah.
So that has to just be a dagger in your heart. It's just like, no, it's my son. He's doing really well. Shush.
Julie would speak up, my wife. It didn't matter to me. I just expected it. But nope, Julie, I can remember her getting in a couple people's face. It was good.
I love her. You got your right.
You shut up. So,
well, and then he went to Denver, where he still is. He's on the practice squad, but he played well.
He's not on the practice squad. He's
not anymore.
No, he's on. He's actually made the roster 3 years in a row. So his first year he didn't make it till late. And last year he made it the second week because he got there's an injury. He got put on the roster the second week, and then never left the roster after that because he got his first win against the Jets. And then this year, the Houston Texans tried to claim him on the third week of the season, and so the GM of the Texans called up the GM of Denver, and there was a conversation that we're going to get. Claim Brett, and so they ended up offering a roster spot to Brett in the third week, which is great, and he ended up jumping on that. Wanted to stay in Denver, and so he's been on the roster ever since. So he's still on the roster.
So he's been on the roster for 3 years in Denver, which is great.
Yes, and the practice squad a little like the first 2 weeks this year was on the practice squad, but then been on the roster now. I think this is the seventh week in a row that he's been on the roster.
So was it?
which is Maria, it's interesting. Not a lot of people realize that there's really not much difference. There's no difference. If you went to a practice, you would not know who's on the practice squad or who's on the active roster You would have no idea who's on, but it's about like 9 times difference in salary, if you can believe that. It's they get paid weekly. So yeah, there's a big difference in salary, but not any difference in their job description.
So right now he's basically third in line.
Correct. Yep.
Which is great. And he played his first NFL game. I taped the game. I called everyone. Of course, everyone knew about it. You guys were there. What was it like to see him? And he did pretty well. He did pretty darn well.
Yeah, last year against the Jets, we were not there because it was COVID.
Oh, God, that's right. Sorry.
Yes,
his first game, you weren't there, but obviously you watched. What was that like?
That was, again, very, very nerve-wracking. But, I just had a feeling that, if he got the opportunity, the one thing, me playing baseball and only getting 155 bats every year, so I'll play about 1 every 5 days. I feel like I've never really got a shot. So I sure didn't want him to have his NFL career cut short by never having a chance. And sometimes that happens to a lot of good quarterbacks. So it was a short week. It was they did only but walkthroughs. It was a Thursday night game, so he had no live reps with the first team, and he went out there and won the game. And then the next week against New England, he was actually going to start that game, and then Drew Lock ended up coming back late in the week. But he was able to run practice for the first 3 or 4 days, and that's, again, I think the leadership role that Brett's very comfortable with. I think he's a really, really good leader. Mike Shula made a comment, his quarterback coach at Denver, saying, I will remember that, how Brett, the players responded to Brett during that week. So again, that's the same way he ran practice. It was just natural for him back as 7th, 8th, 9th grader when he was doing it back then. So he was, really actively participating and taking charge of practice, that scenario, and getting guys to believe. So that's really, really critical.
Well, and to go out for your first, big game in the NFL and win, what was the phone conversation like after that?
Just proud, it was pretty actually low key, but it doesn't happen a lot. I look at these quarterbacks that are struggling this year when they get the opportunity, and it happens, but it was just proud.
Well, and like you say, I talk a lot about, it's different between college and NFL, especially at quarterback, no matter what position, but especially at quarterback, there's a huge difference.
Huge difference. And Brett says that, when they're open in college, it's like, this big, and they're open in college, it's like that big, so and I hear Aikman talk about that all the time, but Brett says that, he goes, you gotta really anticipate a lot quicker and be that much more accurate and be able to take the chance, because they're not wide open. Now, sometimes it happens, but not a lot.
You said this big in college, this big.
Guys are in your feet, guys are actually on you. Mark will say the same thing, is that guys are just right on you. The pass rush is so severe. I mean, there's got guys that can move and they're big and at a fast pace. So, yeah.
Well, you accidentally said this big in college, but pros. So college, pros.
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
I knew what you meant. We all did. So last question, I'll let you go because I know you're busy. Football, baseball, sports in general. How has it just affected your life? That's what I always say. The point of this podcast is, let's talk NFL, let's talk sports. But I always want to know how it's affected your life, your family, your kids. How has the world of sports, especially football and baseball, for you?
Yeah, well, I just think the world of sports just can teach you about so many things. Being a teacher, I'm a big advocate of doing something outside of your school to stay connected with your school. And sports is that for a lot of kids. And it's band for other kids. It's the chess club for other. It's just doing something where you're involved with other people and being a good teammate and what that means, and then working hard towards a common goal, so, and it teaches you so much. Now, the entertainment value, yes, is tremendous. Having played and, having not reached my pinnacle, of course, I wanted to play in the major. I never made it. Having watched Mark do that, so proud of him and his 12-year career that he had, and Brett being in the third year of his career. And both my daughters being basketball, volleyball, and golfers. They both played college golf. that camaraderie that you don't get is really, really special. And it's been a huge part of the Rypien's life for sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, anything else you want to add before I let you go back to preparing for tomorrow?
I just think it's great what you're doing. I love that. I just think that sports world and how the things come about. I'm really they got this ESPN special. I don't know if it's ESPN called Untold, and just these documentaries about where people came from and how they ended up being where they're at. And just it's interesting. I don't think there's any one magic pill. I think it's it's hard work. These people get to where they're at by just working their tail off, and I'm so proud to see what you're doing with your show. Can't wait to see it for sure.
Oh, you're so sweet. I asked you how it affected you, but yeah, I always say, we grew up with, I think both of our dads, by the way, were probably the biggest in the schools. They were larger than life.
And maybe the loudest too. Both of them were pretty loud.
Yeah, Penny, not so much big sister, but Pete and I have taken that over. This we know. But, I just like talking to people. And this was just an opportunity. And I'm like, oh, please. And then, of course, I call everyone I know. And you'll be calling up Brett for me. Thank you. He'll be on next week.
Yes, I was going to add that. So Brett would love to do this. One thing I think during the bye week would be good. I think the bye week's coming up here in a little bit. So that would be, you'd love to be on your show.
I love it. Well, Timmy, I can call you Timmy. Timmy, thanks so much for being on the podcast today. Best of luck. Big hugs to everyone in the family. We miss you guys. Pete says hello, of course. And I love your perspective and your outlook, and keep on teaching, and bless you for that, because that's tough.
Thank you. Thanks, Maria. Right. I appreciate you having me on. Take care.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Maria's Minute. I'm in my hotel room. Look what I just got from my man. Beautiful flowers. Sid loves them. They smell good. This week it's going to be super quick. I just want to say, if you don't like your job, and I know it's tough to get work out there right now, but go for what you want. Go for what you love. Try a few different things. That's fine. I found my passion a long time ago, and I'm super lucky. I'm at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, having a ball, working my tail off for all hours, but it's great because we all do it down here and we love it. So again, pick something you like, choose something like, once you like it, stick with it. Have fun out there. Be safe. We will see you at the rodeo. Sid says a big yeehaw. Next week, tune in more with Beyond the Locker Room with Maria right here. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See ya.